Could XCN dominate during this bull run? I hypothetically think so because reaching $1, that's still my price target. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to XCN, the sentiment as of late hasn't been the best. But as of right now, we're beginning to see the crypto space starting to pick up again. Only time will tell if this is just a temporary thing or if it's going to continue. But ultimately speaking, I do believe that the bull run is far from over. And not to mention, I believe that when it comes to the payments market, which is currently valued at over $2 trillion, when I take a look at the global trade and finance market, which is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion by 2028, according to Mortar Intelligence, I believe that XCN could very well be one of these cryptocurrencies that really has a recognition within that space. Because when I take a look at the Onyx protocol, I really do believe that even though it's never going to defeat Stellar, even though it's never going to defeat Ripple, even though it's never going to do that, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter because at least it can be top 3 within this space. Now, the reason for that is because XCN, due to the fact that for quite a while, we saw the Ripple and SEC case go down, which thankfully is over. Now, however, even besides that, because that did go down for quite a while, not many developers wanted to enter into this space. I think probably because of the negative sentiment and also the reputation. Now it's, of course, different, but for quite a while, not many developers were willing to devote their time and resources to enter within a space that didn't have the best reputation, people would argue. As a result of that, XCN doesn't have that many dynamic competitors now. Now its only competition is really XDC. So when I take a look at it, it's in this amazing market that has theoretically and hypothetically a lot of future potential, but then not that many dynamic competitors. I mean, this is how amazing XCN is. So that's why I believe that it could very well dominate. I mean, if let's say someone said, hey, the NFT market, which is predicted to reach over $200 billion by 2030, according to Grandview Research, again, with a market that is quote-unquote worth around $200 billion, at least potentially, years moving forward, if someone said, hey, a project that we make is going to be top 3 within that space, wouldn't people say, wow, that's a very dominating project, right? It's dominated the market. I think a lot of people would argue that. Let alone if it was something like the payments market or the global trade and finance market. I mean, XCN has the opportunity to do that. So this is why I believe that it could very well dominate. Not to mention, people are very in love with AI projects, and so do I. Don't get me wrong. I think AI is amazing. When you think about it, the AI market, even though it has a lot of hype, think about this, right? The AI market, according to Grandview Research, is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030. So that's pretty much 5 years away at this point. Again, nearly $2 trillion, right? As opposed to the payments market, which is already valued at over $2 trillion as of right now. So when people say AI is massive, sure it is. And it's predicted to maybe even be bigger in the future. But take a look at the payments market, global trade and finance. Now, again, this is pretty much something that should have more hype than AI, in my opinion, but it doesn't. Not maybe in terms of the impact, but maybe in terms of the market size currently. This could hypothetically be something that is considered more dynamic, I would say. However, even besides that point, when I take a look at something like XRP, of course, again, it's going to be number 1, XL number 2, and XCN achieving a glimpse of that, I don't see why not. Because if it were to go to the price of $1, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $32.5 billion, which is around an 86x from here. Keep in mind, that market cap is still well below $100 billion than XRP's current market cap. And come on, we're not even in a fully fledged bull run yet. Bitcoin hasn't even reached 100,000 back again, right? So the way to take a look at it is that I don't think that this is really too much to ask for. Imagine once XRP goes to the price of, let's say, $15, and let's say XM goes to the price of $10. Once the market is euphoric, and let's say Bitcoin reaches $250,000 and maybe even beyond, at that point, let's say when the commotion is really dynamic, XCN can't reach the price of $1. That's just the way to take a look at it. Now, of course, XCN had a very good pump, which I talked about because I was talking about XCN before that pump. And then, of course, XCN had a major pullback where a lot of people kind of, I would say, lost a little bit of hope in this project. But now we're beginning to see a little bit of a recovery. Again, only time will tell if this is going to be prolonged or not. And even despite all that, though, I'm still very bullish because I'm still dollar cost averaging into XCN. Anytime an income, acquiring, holding, and just waiting, that's it, because I'm not going to give up when it comes to XCN. That's not my style. I don't do that. I haven't given up on the crypto space overall, and the way I take a look at it is this. Everything kind of feels like a domino effect here. If I believe in the crypto space overall, which I do, and I believe it has a future, of course I'm going to believe in the projects which I believe could make a major impact within the space. For instance, something like XRP could make a major impact, right? And of course, if Bitcoin does do well, it would only be fair to assume that XRP could, at least now, with the sentiment being a lot better, with the Ripple and SEC stuff basically now not being much of an issue anymore, of course, due to the lawsuit allegedly dropping. Even besides that, as a result of that, let's say Bitcoin does well this time around, I'm assuming that XRP is going to join that ride. And as a result, I think like something like XCN, which could be viewed as a viable alternative as opposed to something like that, could very well join that ride too. So if someone says that XCN is going to fail, but then XRP is going to prosper, they don't go hand in hand in that statement, I would assume, because when you take a look at something like Bitcoin, if Bitcoin does do well, let's say Bitcoin reaches $250,000, would it make sense for Ethereum to drop to the price of $100? No, because if Bitcoin does do well, theoretically, Ethereum's going to do well too. So the way you take a look at it is that if people believe in XRP and XLM, which I do believe in their future, because I think they're going to be these major market players within the space, I think some of XCN is going to join that ride too. It's like, for instance, saying that, hey, we're going to go on a mission with Batman and Robin. Of course, Batman doing well is going to, theoretically, right? I'm not saying in every case, but theoretically, I would assume, I think Robin would maybe do good too. But I'm just saying, theoretically, that's what I would assume. So when I take a look at something like XCN, I really do believe in its future. And keep in mind, with over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, I highly doubt that this born is going to be bad. You know, that's more than ever before in history. Now, it may not be 10% of the world's population, but the way I view it is that it's still a very good amount because given perspective, it's pretty much double when compared to the peak of the 2021 born, again, in terms of crypto owners. So I do believe that this is actually a very special figure. And the way I view it is that when it comes to the bull run progressing, I think around summertime, we could very well see things hypothetically pick up in a very good way. And then maybe even continuing all the way to maybe the end of this year and maybe even longer, who knows? Because as we all know, usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, again, this is based off history. That would actually mean around October this year. So basically near the end of this year. The reason being is because the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April of last year. So again, when I take a look at that, historically, near the end of this year could maybe be a very good time as a worst case scenario. Now, granted, each cycle is going to be different, so maybe the bull run could continue longer, or maybe it could peak earlier. Only time will tell, but again, I'm going to pay attention to that because I kind of view this as something that's not over yet. Again, with that many crypto owners, with the institutional investors, with the enterprise adoption, with the Ripple and SEC stuff not really being an issue, of course, anymore, at least people would say, theoretically and hypothetically. It could just be different this time around. I get it. Again, each cycle is different. The economy, everything, each cycle is, of course, going to have slight variations. But the way you take a look at it is that I still believe in this space. I haven't given up. And the idea of XCM going to the price of $1 during this morning, that's still my price target. And I still believe in it. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. Greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm on peace. Bye.